Good morning. We are cutting into our Plus programming with some breaking news this Thursday. The Dallas Cowboys have announced the death of second-year defensive edge player Marshawn Kneeland this morning. The 24-year-old is out of Western Michigan. He played at WMU for the Broncos, a second-round pick in 2024. Certainly a big splash earlier this week. Fans of the Cowboys saw him score his first professional touchdown on the heels of a blocked punt on Monday Night Football against the Cardinals. Now, we do not have many details yet on his death. We can report that Plano police were called to his home for a welfare check overnight. They say they did not make contact and then closed the case. But again, our team is working feverishly to find out some more information, and we'll share that for you as soon as we have it. I do believe we've got some statements incoming from law enforcement officials at any moment. So as soon as we get one of those statements, of course, we will get it to you right here on Plus and on all of our platforms as well. Want to share with you a statement from the Cowboys that they posted earlier today, saying it is with extreme sadness that the Dallas Cowboys share that Marshawn Kneeland tragically passed away this morning. He was a beloved teammate and member of our organization. Our thoughts and prayers regarding Marshon are with his girlfriend Catalina and his family. Around the NFL community today, we are seeing similar sentiments expressed both by the NFL, by the NFL Players Union, by Marshawn Kneeland's agent, Jonathan Persley from Sports Stars Incorporated, and across really the NFL landscape this morning. Teammates as well weighing in. Just a big loss for the Dallas Cowboys and the football family in Western Michigan and beyond. I want to get to some of those statements again in a moment, but I know our sports team has been working feverishly behind the scenes to get some more information as well. Mike Leslie and Joe Trahan set to join us, and we're going to catch up with Mike first. Mike, we got this news, about 8:45 this morning is when I think it came out, before the 9 o'clock hour. We were in our daybreak coverage on Plus when we first heard about it. How did you hear the news today?
Same as a lot of people, just hearing it come down from the Cowboys this morning when they released their statement, and it was stunning. We were talking about a 24-year-old kid that, to your point, just scored his first NFL touchdown on Monday night against the Cardinals, and certainly had a very bright future. This is a young man that was well liked within the locker room and had a lot of promise, had a really bright future for this Dallas Cowboys football team, and certainly had a bright future just as a human being. Like, there's so much more. Obviously, the headline is that a Dallas Cowboys player passed away today, but it's the human being. It's Marshawn Kneeland that passes away at 24 years old, and there's so much more than just what he was doing on the football field that was in front of him in his life. And just an unbelievably tragic set of circumstances this morning. And as you alluded to, we're still learning more and more about this as the morning goes along. But it's a horrible situation that is touching so many people from all across the NFL. We're seeing statements roll in from the Detroit Lions organization and the Washington Commanders organization. The Dallas Stars put out a statement earlier today. Everybody just sending their thoughts, their well wishes to the Dallas Cowboys organization, to Marshawn Kneeland's family, to anybody who knew him well. Micah Parsons, former teammate of his, posting on Instagram earlier today about his sadness over this news. It's touching everybody right now, because for anybody to pass away at 24 years old is unbelievably tragic, and it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning.
Mike, I want to cut in real quickly here. I mentioned before that we were waiting on a statement from officials today. We did just get this in courtesy of DPS, the North Texas region. I want to read this for our viewers. I'm going to read this in its entirety. It says, on November 5th of 2025 at 10:33 last night, DPS troopers attempted to stop a vehicle for a traffic violation on the northbound lanes of the Dallas North Tollway near Keller Springs Boulevard. The driver refused to stop, resulting in a pursuit with DPS troopers. They lost sight of the vehicle. That pursuit was terminated. That vehicle later located abandoned. It had been involved in a crash on the southbound lanes of Dallas Parkway near Warren Parkway. DPS aircraft and troopers, along with the Frisco Police Department, searched the immediate area. They found the driver, 24-year-old Marshawn Kneeland, deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Then it goes on to have some details about the investigation being ongoing. No additional information is available right now, but we do have confirmation courtesy of the Texas Department of Public Safety that Marshawn Kneeland was found deceased from what they believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And we have been waiting on this statement, just getting it in now. Had seen some allusions to this on social media, but did not have that confirmed. does not change the tragic aspect of just this loss, as you were kind of talking about, Mike, a moment ago. For a guy who's 24 years old, well-liked by his teammates, obviously friends and family in mourning this morning, and the Dallas Cowboys as well on a bye this week after a big night for him on Monday night. I know Joe Trahan has been standing by working the phones this morning. And Joe, I don't know if you heard, I just read that statement from DPS with some more details on his passing. What are your thoughts? Have you crossed paths with Marshon before in the locker room, covering the team at games at the Star in Frisco by chance?
Yeah, thanks so much, Mark. Yeah, obviously, affable young man, well-liked by his teammates, regarded as a great teammate. The news in and of itself that this young man passed away at 24, stunning in and of itself. But now that we have some sense of the manner in which this happened, it makes it all the more tragic. Think about this young man who, in terms of his career, his profession, he is just coming off, the highest high he had attained. I mean, defensive linemen rarely score touchdowns in the league, and he was able to do so on special teams, recovering that blocked punt on Monday night against the Cardinals. The joy with which he celebrated with Sam Williams, who blocked the punt, and the rest of his teammates was immeasurable at that point. And the absolute contrast with what happens just hours later is unfathomable. Who knows what this young man had been going through to, have this kind of circumstance be the end of his life. But in so many ways, absolutely stunning and tragic, and just hard to describe, hard to wrap your mind around that this could happen. And so the outpouring of support and well wishes will continue to come from, all areas of sport. The NFLPA, the National Football League Players Association, they released a statement minutes ago saying the NFL Players Association is deeply saddened by the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. His impact on those around him was immeasurable, and his loss is felt profoundly across our community. We're working to ensure that players have the support they need, and our condolences are with Marshon's family and loved ones. To our player members, please remember that navigating grief can be difficult. Lean on one another and take care of your
Joe, are you there? I may have lost you. Are you there? Can you hear me, Joe? Okay, we may have lost Joe. I'm not hearing him at the moment, but he was in the middle of reading that statement from the NFLPA. And again, that ends with letting players know that if you'd like to reach out for wellness support, you can use the NFL Lifeline. And I read earlier that the National Football League itself was making some of those resources available. I worked at the NFL Network for many years and got the privilege and pleasure of getting to know a lot of the guys who put on the pads and played pro football, and it really is a brotherhood for so many of them. They go out on the field, each and every Sunday. And for these guys, whether or not they play against each other or on the same team, there's a sense of brotherhood there. So I can imagine there's a lot of players around the league this morning that may not have known Marshon very well, but are personally affected by this loss. I understand that we have Joe back on the line now. Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Mark.
And Mike, you're there as well. I was just kind of.
we hear you.
I was talking, Joe. You referenced the mental health resources that the NFLPA was offering up to its players, and I don't want to speculate at all about the specifics of what went into what happened last night, but when you hear that Plano police were called to his home for a welfare check, and then later on there's an interaction with Frisco police, it does make you wonder if he may have been dealing with something. I know that we'll, I'm sure, have more information come out in the ensuing days here, but obviously the tragedy of being 24 years old, coming off of a professional highlight on Monday night, you can see why so many guys in the league are expressing their sadness this morning.
Yes, absolutely. And listen, obviously, my thoughts immediately go to Dak Prescott, the Cowboys quarterback, and, the face of the franchise, what he's gone through in his family. His brother committed suicide as well, and Dak has championed efforts to try and help people who are dealing with mental health issues. So this will hit that locker room incredibly hard because of the nature by which Marshawn Kneeland lost his life. So this will be difficult for that entire organization to work through, and dare I say, difficult for Dak Prescott as the leader of that organization. But he had talked before. Dak Prescott's, it was the 12th anniversary of the death of his mother on Monday night, and Dak just talked about the difficulty of going through what happens in a game as opposed to the difficulty of what can happen going through life. So he has been really battle tested in that regard, and I suspect he will step up his leadership even further in terms of giving all the support that his fellow Cowboys players need in the wake of this stunningly tragic news.
Well, I think you're right, Joe, and no question, Dak has been more public about it than many people who have dealt with similar situations, and I think that provides some support for anyone who might be dealing with it and needs a place to turn. Mike, Cowboys are on a bye this week. Perhaps it is a very well-timed bye, because I imagine this is going to be a locker room that returns to a practice field with heavy hearts.
Yeah, I'm just seeing posts right now coming down. Emmitt Smith posted his tragic thoughts, and the one that maybe struck me the most just came down from DeMarvion Overshown here in the last couple of minutes. A picture of Marshawn Kneeland and just the word shattered. And I think that's absolutely where this Cowboys locker room is. I think that's where anybody who knew this young man is right now, because it is unbelievably tragic. And when you hear the details of what happened, and to your point, Mark, I'm sure we'll hear more about what indeed went into the events of the last 12 hours or so. But the ultimate reality here is that entire locker room is shattered right now, and it's almost immaterial how you put the locker room back together right now, or how you prepare for the Las Vegas. None of that is even remotely even relevant right now. It's the human beings in that locker room that are going to have to rally around each other just from a let's get to tomorrow standpoint, let alone anything that revolves around their jobs. Their jobs are secondary, tertiary right now to everything else that they're having to deal with and try and reconcile with right now.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the time spent at NFL Network was helpful for me as a fan to change the perception of the guys that I watch strap those pads on each and every game, these warriors, as we like to call them, and see the people behind the helmets and the face masks, and to have a better understanding and insight into, again, that brotherhood, the reasons why so many of them want to play the game, how for some it is an avenue to the things they want to accomplish in life. It is not just a bunch of guys who want to get out there, run around, and hit each other each Sunday. It is stories. It is brotherhoods. It is, girlfriends and kids and moms and dads and wives and sisters and cousins and brothers and all that kind of stuff. And I think we're seeing that on social media today. I want to get back to real quickly talking about where he came from in Western Michigan. He was a standout high school athlete as well on the track field, or on the track, not just the football field. And you think about people in the community at Western Michigan and where he grew up as well, far beyond just the Cowboys and the NFL world this morning.
Yeah, and you guys, when you think about, the type of person that Marshawn Kneeland was, I did see a post about reaction from former Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. Of course, he was the defensive coordinator last year, and this quote was obtained by our colleague Jane Slater, who's with NFL Network, but she's based in Dallas. And I do want to read to you what Coach Zimmer had to say about Marshon, because I think this really illuminates the type of person he was. He was a great person, eager to learn, wanted to be great. He didn't take any crap from anyone on the field. He studied hard, loved playing the game, tough. And then Zimmer added, my last conversation with him was to keep being you. You're going to have a great career. So if you want to encapsulate how this young man was thought about by his teammates, by his coaches, but those who were, in that NFL foxhole environment with him, I think that quote from Mike Zimmer really sums it up in an efficient and really quick manner. That's kind of who his teammates thought he was, and that's been reflected by, when you talk to his fellow members on the defensive line, especially that brotherhood that they've created, and how he was integral to it and only helped further it. So that's the loss. Losing that type of person, losing any person in the locker room with the way, those guys have to be with each other all the time would be difficult in any way, right? It wouldn't matter, right? But the fact that this kid, this young man, was so affable when he was with his teammates will only make it that much more difficult for all of those around him. And this will take time. This will take time.
Well, guys, I appreciate your perspective this morning. I know that you've been making calls all morning long trying to get some more information on Marshon, his passing, and the life that he led that left so many people to share their outpouring of grief this morning. So thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and your insight. And of course, I expect that you'll have a busy rest of the day. We look forward to hearing from you both on air and online as this story progresses. Joe Trahan and Mike Leslie joining us today. I want to once more, before we say goodbye again, read the statement from the Texas Department of Public Safety, in case you missed it earlier, announcing the death of Marshawn Kneeland. We heard that news about 8:45 this morning. Just got this statement from the DPS saying that last night the troopers attempted to stop a vehicle for a traffic violation on the northbound lines of the Dallas North Tollway. That driver refused to stop, resulting in pursuit with DPS troopers. They lost sight of the vehicle, and that pursuit was terminated. That vehicle later located abandoned, involved in a crash on the southbound lane of Dallas Parkway near Warren Parkway. DPS aircraft and troopers, along with Frisco police, searched the immediate area, and they found the driver, 24-year-old Marshawn Kneeland, deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to the Texas DPS. So that's the latest that we have in this investigation. We will let you know if we get any more updates, both on air and online here on WFA Plus. And of course, you can find us on 24 hours a day on our website at WFA.com. That's it for us this morning. Thank you for joining us for this breaking news coverage here on WFA Plus.